All right. Well, welcome back to Your Retirement with Insurance 365. Jeffrey Steffen here on our monthly venture here on News Talk WJAG, the third Saturday of every month at 7:30-ish. Angela Cradaville is with us again here on the left. The fans of the show have been pining, more Angela, more Angela, more Angela. So we gave you more Angela. And we're going to circle back around to Angela, too, and Jay Kenobi is here as well. Find out more about these two and their awesome agency, insuranceagency365.com. They're located at 711 South 13th. We often joke, but it's true. If you miss the building, you are really not paying attention. You can also give them a call at 402-371-3136. So, single pay life policies. So, Jay, let's start with you. Single pay life policies. You actually have folks who just lay down one payment and the policy's good.
Absolutely. And the reason they're looking into that, it's an alternative for the low return on your deposit products.
No,
I mean, it's very simple. You have deposit products today less than 1%, getting a 1099 tax.
I just stopped. That just... I can't believe I'm living in the United States of America. A return of less than 1%.
Getting taxed on it.
We were complaining when it was a 3% and 4%.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Yeah. Or another option is to put it in the stock market, and
Sure.
That's not always conducive to everybody's likings.
Right.
So an option we show people is, look, what I call this never money. Are you ever going to use this, Jeffrey? And you say, probably not. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I call that never money. You have it, you've done well, but you're never going to really have a plan for it. You're just going to give it to your children. And a lot of people have never money. That's why they have them deposit products like they do.
Right.
So they're never going to do anything with it. Well, would you like to take that money and pass it to your kids tax-free and get a guaranteed gain from today going forward?
Yeah. No kidding.
Yep. We do a lot of these. They're called single pay. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. If you're a 60-year-old female and you have that $50,000 of never money.
Yeah.
So someday your two daughters are going to get it, your son's going to get it, but you're 60 years old going, I'm really not ever going to need this. I've done well. That can turn into $102,104 now.
Wow.
Day one. One payment, and it's so your children, instead of inheriting $50,000, are going to inherit $50,000 taxed, probate.
Sure.
You're now going to inherit $102 tax-free.
Tax-free.
So you and if you die at 60 or 61 or 81 or whenever, it's guaranteed.
So what else? There is nothing else you could do to make that money grow faster than that.
No.
I don't think you're going to get that from the Passbook savings account.
Nope. And it's just a way to leverage. Everybody worries about inflation, Jeffrey. I mean, think about it. If you're more than ever. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're 60, 65, you're like, I hope things last, and I hope when I leave my kids this money, it means something to them. Well, you just doubled your money.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And think about the road that the country is on right now, not to turn political on you, but, we're starting to see inflation. It's been so long since we've seen inflation. We almost forgot about what inflation was. But, man, my bacon is up 11% at the grocery store. Yeah. That's a mortal sin. Bacon? Yeah. 11%. And I know, apologies to corn growers here, corn was up, 44% or something like that. You love that for the farmers.
$7 corn.
It's creeping.
Yeah,
it's creeping in there. Gas prices are all going up, and it's just these small things. And so inflation is. I'm old enough to remember the Jimmy Carter years back in the late 70s.
Amazing how gas prices have tripled and nobody says where it came from.
Yeah, yeah.
No blame.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yes, this is an example. And then I also, a 70-year-old female. So now you're a little older. And the thing I'll tell you is, just think about it. What's your mortality? The average female, 70, is going to pass away at 81.
Okay.
So in 11 years. So that 70-year-old female buys a single pay life, and that 50,000 turns into 76. Now,
okay,
in those 11 years.
In those 11 years, yeah.
What would that 11 years be at 1%? Not even close.
That's probably easy math, but
yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great way to leverage, and I never tell everybody, there's no one answer's perfect for anybody. This you might have 150,000 in deposit products, and you might look at 50. Might make sense. You don't generally come in and say, well, I have 150 and I want to do 150.
Yeah.
Life's about balance, and you make good financial decisions when you have balance, but you cover all your risks. That's the thing. You have a risk of inflation right now, and to cover it, you have to do 2 or 3 things. This is one of the potential resources for you with some of your never money.
There you go, and a great gift idea too. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, cash is king, right?
Yep.
Grandma's laying some cash in our lap. We'll take that for sure here. We wanted to circle back around too and go back to Angela here about Medicare supplements. We've talked about Medicare supplements, and of course we knew about the deadline on Medicare Part D. That was back in December, I think the 7th or something like that. But Angela, maybe in some of those conversations, we led folks to believe that that's the only time you can make any of those changes.
Right. So a lot of people think you can only make the changes during the October 15th through December timeframe, but that is false. Medicare supplements, we can check anytime during the year. And I would highly advise if your rates go up, I know a lot of rate increases have been going up with this inflation. I got some letters saying certain companies are going up. So, I mean, it's time to shop them. We can look at Medicare supplements at any time. Doesn't matter.
You've talked to people who've walked through your door who didn't think that they could do anything about that, and they just kept taking those price increases, just taking those bullets one after the other, thinking, well, this is just what we have to do.
Right. I hear that all the time, not from my clients. I train my clients, we can shop anytime, but somebody that comes off the street and wants to talk with me, and they're like, well, we can't change it until that time frame. And then when I say, well, you can, and they are just shocked. We never knew that. Well,
right. Well, go find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go find out. And again, it's a matter of just taking a look at it. It doesn't cost anything to find out, as Jay has pointed out here as well. Jay, we were talking about these policies that you forget about. I'm going to throw you a curveball here. You don't remember buying them. Have you ever come across somebody who can't even remember what they have? I mean, they might even have a policy that they're not even aware of anymore.
Oh, I've had to call many times the Department of Insurance and do a search of a dead person.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, the family's like, we don't know. We see that, the bank account had a payment to Conseco, or the bank account had a payment to AIG. We don't think mom had that policy. And then I called the Department of Insurance. They do a search and they say, actually, there you go.
Boom.
Or we call that company direct. And that's, again, I just can't understand how people don't plan for an inevitable event. Jeffrey, you're going to die. I'm going to die.
It will happen.
It's going to happen. And the kids, grieving is tough, but there's a better way to have the things, financial affairs in order. And just sitting down with somebody who, I mean, I tell people all the time, I don't care if you have business with 3 financial planners and 6 banks, and I might just help you with one product. It's okay.
Sure.
But I'm going to help you get them all organized. And a lot of the other places don't want to help with that detail. And it's a big detail.
But think about, if you go back and remember when you lost your parents and now you have kids and you're getting to be that age, you went through that grieving process, and you don't want to have to leave all of these decisions, maybe even tough decisions too. Maybe it might be better if mom and dad make those decisions now while you still can, so the kids don't have to.
Jeffrey, I get that a lot. That's a good point. I tell people, if you're married and you're both alive, let's make these decisions now.
Right.
Because it's really tough in an office to talk to a widow, because she will say, I wonder what he would have done. So I tell a lot of my clients, like, you're both here now. Let's make this decision on the farmland. Let's make this decision on the commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Let's make this decision on the personal property in the house. Does Jeffrey get the personal property that he, does he get the kitchen table? Does he get this?
Right.
Do you just have an estate sale? Do you put things on Facebook? Let's have mom and dad, while they're alive, together, make a decision. Who gets the CD money? Make the decision.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it all to fall on, let's be honest, it's generally the husband dies first. That lady does not want to, and she will say every time, I wonder what blank would have done. Yeah. And so,
the blankety blank should have made this decision.
You bring up a great point.
Yeah. So find these things out here, people. It's time to get the information in your hand. Anything that you don't understand, bring it down to these folks and let them go through all of this, because like I said earlier, you can't put a price on peace of mind, and that's what you walk away from when you talk to these folks. Talk to Angela about Medicare supplements any time of the year. Ask about single pay life policies, an awesome product. And then, how many orphan policies do you have in that file cabinet? Why don't you go dig out those orphan policies, call up Jay or Angela and say, hey, I might have an orphan policy here. What do I do with this? And come to them for service, because they want to help you get through these times. And again, make those decisions now while you still can. Find out more about Insurance 365 at insuranceagency365.com. And you can give them a call, 402-371-3136. And they're located at 711 South 13th Street. Guys, before we wrap up, anything you want to add to?
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, we covered it. And again, past programs can be found on the Insurance 365 website, Jay?
Absolutely. We post them every month.
I think we've got about 10 or 11 of these already up. So if you've been listening to this program and saying to yourself, wow, this is good stuff, and we've been at it for a while longer, So go back and listen to past programs and educate yourself about this stuff, because it's so, so important for your peace of mind and for the peace of your family after you're gone. It's Your Retirement with Insurance 365. We'll talk to you again next month. Thanks, guys. All right, gang, and welcome once again to Your Retirement with Insurance 365. We are back with our monthly program. You hear this on the third Saturday of each month here on News Talk WJAG. And as you look at your radio on the left, that's Angela Cradaville, who is doing the whole show by herself today. And on the right is Jay Kenobi. Hey, great to have you guys back.
Hey, thanks for having us.
And they're getting fan mail is pouring into Angela's desk every day, right, Jay?
Absolutely.
People are going, oh, man, we got to, and you did actually get this comment, we've got to have more of Angela on the show, right?
I get that comment quite frequently. I don't know what that says about my skill set, but...
They trust females.
Very well could be.
Oh, and then that bonehead Jeffrey, you got Jeffrey right in the middle of all of that. I don't know how that works. So, yeah. Well, she makes the studio look great, and she knows her stuff. And, of all of the things that we've talked about, and I think this is the 10th or 11th month of the program, we started talking about getting all of your healthcare insurance lined up and Medicare Part D and all of that. And she is the expert in that. If you have ever have any questions about that, Angela is the person to go to. One of the things that we really, really stress, and really the driving force behind this program, Jay, is to let folks know about Insurance 365, obviously, but also that the service that you provide. And I'm going to start with Angela here. She gets the first half of the show here. She doesn't hog the whole show. And Jay says he's okay with that, right, Jay?
Absolutely.
Angela, 60 to 70% of policies are orphaned policies. Did I say that right, Jay?
Orphan policy.
Orphan policy. So explain what an orphan policy is, Angela.
Yeah, so an orphan policy is basically you bought a policy, say 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and you no longer know who your agent is. Your agent retired, your agent died. You have no idea who you bought it from. Mm-hmm. So we call those orphan policies. You have nowhere to turn to. So a lot of times we tell people, bring your policies in. We can help you understand them. Because that's the other thing. People don't know what they bought. They don't remember.
Who would?
Right, exactly. We don't expect people to, but
yeah.
We definitely want, as your person ages, you want to know what you have and understand it. You don't want that policy to run dry. What that means is if you have cash value in your life insurance policy, for instance, a lot of people don't understand if they need to make that policy premium higher or complete opposite, where the cash value is way above what is needed for the policy.
It's already taken care of itself.
Exactly.
And you're still paying in on the thing. Yeah.
Yes. So.
And some of these policies do require action on your part here, Jay. Just before we went on, you made the example of a lot of cancer policies that guarantee return of premium after a set amount of time, say 20 years or so. They don't automatically just turn around and send you that check, do they, at the end of 20 years?
Yeah, they do not. You need to be on top of this. And they return a premium after 20 years or 25. And so here you are today at 75, cancer-free, and you need to contact the company and let them know, I want my return of premium.
Yeah. I
see it a lot in the long-term care business where people have a long-term care policy. There's nothing for us to sell you. There's nothing. I can't beat something that you bought 20 years ago or even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You just can't. More from a mortality standpoint, from an actuarial standpoint. So what Angela and I have found a real niche and opportunity to get to know people in this business is take care of the orphan policies. You come in with multiple types of policies: healthcare, life insurance, annuities, long-term care, Medicare supplements. And you say, I'm not sure what I have. Last night, actually, I was putting up fence in my pasture. At 8 o'clock, I took a call from a client, and he said, I'm 74 and widowed. And he said, I'm looking at an old life policy, Jay. I don't even know who I bought this from. And he said, I've got some questions. That's exactly. Now, can I replace the life insurance on a 74-year-old? No, he bought this so many years ago. But he had no idea, Jeffrey. He said, there's something in here about age 80. I said, is it a term to 80 or is it a cash building policy that's going to surrender at 80? He goes, what's the difference? I said,
but there's a
we
big
need
difference.
and then I said, I know him because he's obviously a client in other areas. And I said, let's get your son on from Iowa on the phone and let's make sure he's up. And he goes, you do that? And I said, absolutely. Your son needs to know your life insurance because you don't have a wife anymore. I said, your son needs to understand, do we keep paying? Do we let this lapse? Those type of things. And that's the stuff Angela and I just see we're so fortunate that we started this company, Insurance 365, and we were bold and different. And our purpose, the purpose was to help that older generation. And what we found is there's just so many people out there with so many policies that the agent just isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. He retired. He moved. Or he's in town and he's not involved anymore and up to date on some of the statements. So it's been very fulfilling and very purposeful for us to just and we've gotten to know some really quality people through it who obviously buy some other things and do some things, but they want an agent of record. They want to be updated, knowledgeable, and confident.
I think we all want that, too. As policy owners, we want somebody to be able to explain this. And, you said now that his wife is gone. Chances are his wife wouldn't have been able to remember or tell you much about that policy either. But now, Angela, let's pivot back to you. When we talk about service and wanting service and updating the kids, this is so important because my wife is in a position where her folks are up there in age, and they are really going through all of the finances to make sure that at least a couple of the kids know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We see families go through this where they go, I think mom had a life insurance policy, or I think, and then they find an old life insurance policy. So then they're like, is this even still active? It's just best to get your kids involved, and that way they know what you have. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
So how about a horror story here? Something that would be really, really important would be like a long-term care policy. And let's say the spouse that was keeping up those payments is the spouse that's gone, and all of a sudden the payments weren't being kept up. And these are significant payments when you're talking about long-term care insurance. And then all of a sudden there's mom all alone and the long-term care policy lapses.
Right.
I've heard those horror stories.
Yeah, unfortunately. You can always add a secondary bill recipient. So if the bill doesn't get paid for the first time, the bill will get mailed to, say, whoever you put down, a child. Mm-hmm. That way you can see if mom or dad didn't pay for their long-term care. You can step in, get that paid, and then the policy will not lapse.
Yeah. So we might be talking to mom or dad here, too. But we're also talking to the kids. So, kids, if you're listening to this program and you take advantage of this program on the third Saturday of every month here on News Talk WJG, this is a reminder for you to get a hold of mom and dad and maybe have a little powwow. And Jay, call you guys up and bring the family in and sit down around the table with you folks.
Absolutely. There's so many ways to do it. You can do Zoom meetings anymore. You can do phone calls. You can get conference calls. You can do in my or Angela's office. We go to the homes. I deal with a lot of attorneys that'll bring in and say, you know what, come down and just go through things with this family. It's just amazing how, just take a step back and think. So you pay money to somebody. That somebody's an insurance company. They provided you a product, and you made that payment for 20 years, 25 years. And now you're at an age where it's more challenging to be sharp, and you're going to ignore this. That just makes no sense to me from a financial standpoint.
Right.
You need more than ever. As you age, Jeffrey, you're closer to a claim. I don't care if it's a Medicare supplement or a cancer policy or a life policy or an annuity. You are closer than ever to a claim, and you're starting to rely on your children more because of the mental challenges. Why would you not make sure and come in and just say, look this over and help me?
Yeah. Why did you buy it in the first place?
And I've had plenty of people say, well, what do I owe you for this? Nothing. And people say, what are you going to get out of this? Well, I'll meet your son who's 55 and successful. I'll meet your 50-year-old daughter-in-law who's in the insurance business, and maybe I'll learn something from her. I might write a burial trust. People come in and I might write a burial trust on this 80-year-old.
Sure. So
yes, there are things that we gain. I don't want people to think I'm on a personal crusade to be the greatest guy in town. There's going to be business.
Yeah.
But most time we don't sell them something. It's get them updated, and then by chance we make these relationships that we want. That's the thing. We get the relationship with the sons and daughters and the accountants and the attorneys, and all of a sudden the mom and dad are endorsing us to their friends at their social settings too. So we benefit. But what my point is, there's most times you're not going to sell a policy that they've bought 15 years ago. You're not going to replace that.
Not necessarily the direct benefit, but we've talked about this too, about how you kind of reorganized back in 2015 about Insurance 365. This really was about you guys recognizing a need, and then you fill that need, which is rule one in business: find a need and then fill it.
Absolutely. And people want a relationship. They want to walk in and they want Angela and I to know their name.
Yeah.
They want to sit down at that desk and they want to share their fears and their concerns. They really do.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me when I just say them two words. I'll say, what do you fear? And all of a sudden you just hear all this stuff and I'm like, okay, let's just analyze this. Let's talk to your attorney. Let's get that will updated. Let's get that healthcare power of attorney. Let's look at that annuity. And is that life insurance? Do we need to modify it, or should it just stay the way it is? Jeffrey, I can't tell you how many people we have that'll walk in and show us a policy that they've been paying $300 to $400 a month for 20 years. Don't have an agent. And I'll say, you have $150,000 of cash in here. Yeah, that's. I just remember that's really good. And I say, you're 80. you have a $200,000 death benefit. The company's going to give you $200. They're keeping the $150. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. No one has told you about the advantages of the life. You bought a great life policy, but no one has shared with you at a mature age the benefits of what you did in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And we just get that constantly.
So go get it and buy a zero-turn mower.
Yeah. there's so many things. Or the long-term care side. Do you need inflation on your policy when you're 85? You're paying $4,000 a year out of your $5,000 a year premium is for inflation. Margaret, you're 85.
Yeah.
We can take that $4,000 rider off this policy. You can? Yeah, we just call the company together. We get a new illustration. We fill out some paperwork. And people will say, what do I owe you for this? I'm like, nothing. but tell your friends about us.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I would like.
Not the direct return, but the indirect return, and that'll pay down the road. But they want to be your agency that will provide you with that service, and you can't put a dollar amount on peace of mind, and that's what you'll walk away from. All right, that's the first segment of the show. Here, we're going to take a quick break. This is Your Retirement with Insurance 365 on News Talk WJAG with Jay Kenobi and Angela Cradaville. A quick break, and we are back with part 2 next.